Have you ever worked with somebody who was kind of known for telling people, don't worry, I got it all under control. You don't have to worry about that at all. I've heard it particularly with people who work for a boss and say, don't worry, boss, I got it all under control. But they might be a colleague too. Oh no, don't worry about that. I've got it. Have you ever felt a little disquieted by that? Maybe it's because you're like, well, I wasn't really worried to begin with. Worry isn't what I was feeling. But it also silences you. It puts you in a place where you're like, I don't know what my recourse is here. So you might kind of be like, oh, okay, well, all right. But I had a question, or I had an idea, or I wanted to know what was going to happen. And now I'm supposed to not want any of those things. And that's why that kind of outwardly very collaborative and thoughtful statement, don't worry, is actually pretty sinister and underhanded. Because what it does is it takes all of the power that you might have in that situation and silences it. And it allows that person to be the one who holds all the power. You don't have a recourse for a question. You don't know how to get follow-up because apparently if you do, you're worrying. I've seen this many times. I've experienced it myself, and it has often led to a lot of misunderstanding. And sometimes that person, the person saying, don't worry, actually doing things that others around them wouldn't necessarily agree with, and sometimes not the right things. Don't worry can be used as a tool to aggregate power, to keep people in the dark, and to make decisions unilaterally. It isn't always bad, but it is something that, frankly, you should worry about when you hear it consistently from someone. So if you have the person in your environment who is the chronic don't worry person, there's a couple things you might do to try to help yourself and help them. The first one would be to say to them, you know what, gosh, I wasn't worried. So that's not really the reaction that I would expect out of this, is to be talking about worry. I think what we're trying to do here is create a collaborative understanding and to work together to bring this issue forward or solve this problem, whatever it is, right? So just really addressing the use of the phrase, don't worry. A second way is to say, well, my expectation is that we are really a team around this issue, or we're part of a bigger team around this. So when you say don't worry, it doesn't really allow the rest of us to have any inputs into what's happening here. So you might be the person running this, but maybe you walk through a model to kind of ensure that we understand, who's in charge, who's responsible, who needs to be informed, to try to take it out of this person has full ownership and authority and you don't have any role at all. And the third might be to be a little more direct about the utilization of the statement. And when the person says, don't worry, to say, I wasn't worried, but now I am, because I don't see this, I see the use of that statement, don't worry, as a way of keeping me a little bit in the dark. So I don't want to be in the dark. Let's figure out a plan where we can both have the information that we need to feel good about how we go forward. So the next time you're hearing, don't worry, I got it, don't worry, maybe stop and pause and provide a little opportunity to have a real conversation about that. You won't regret it.